World's greatest gold camp. From 1906 to 1910, Goldfield was the largest city in Nevada, boasting a population of over 20,000 people in 1907. Goldfield became the leading political and economic power in the state. Welcome everyone to Weekend Escapades. We have found our way into Nevada, to Goldfield, Nevada. An old community, an old west town. We're going to explore that just a little bit. We've already heard a few donkeys that were taking off in the background. You can hear them. We're going to see if we can get a little closer to them. And this is the visitor center, even in Goldfield, an old west town. You have charging stations. Interesting. Some charging stations, old west town. And the visitor center that looks like it is not open. We're here pretty early. We've been on the road. We're about 25 miles, I believe, south-ish of Tonopah, Nevada. Says right there that Goldfield is the world's greatest gold camp. And if it's on a stone, it must be true. And here's those donkeys that were making all that noise earlier. We found them up here on this hill. Now, these donkeys are said to be the direct descendants of the donkeys that used to work in the mines and break their backs pulling all the ore out. The laborers, if you will, that pulled those wagons and all those utensils. Now, this is one of the buildings that are a historical marker, number 93, the Goldfield Historical Society. It says right up there on the sign, spitting on the sidewalk prohibited. I don't see a sidewalk. It's sitting right off the main drag off the highway. That's a good looking old building. Big window in the front, a little door. Like an old miner's cabin. You can tell there's been donkeys. As you can see the remnants on the ground. Big window in the back. Now you can see Goldfield off the main highway. There's a tremendous amount of old shacks. We'll step over to that one and see what that one is. And then old houses here too that are just deteriorating off the main highway. But there's a tremendous amount of buildings that are restored up on the main drag. And we're going to head over that direction as well. The old history of these rock buildings and miner shacks are what we like to see, because that's where people actually lived and stayed when they were here in Goldfield doing all the mining. Okay, so this is the building that was just up the street. And this one has a giant iron door on it. And I can see a modern day lock on it from here. This building is a huge block. And an old tin roof. That looks like that might be an original roof. If not, it has been there for quite a while. But take a look at this door on here. Amazing old door. And that is very thick. Well, this looks like actually it was the jail. You can see the bars in the window, and then inside there's more iron. The visitor center was closed, so I can't get much information on it. At the moment, when it opens up, maybe we can get in there and find out. That'll give us some detail of all these buildings. Look at the stonework on that. And some old iron pieces laying here. It looked like they were original on the building, like maybe they had a, look at that hook on it. Right there. And old tin cans. Look at this one. Looks like an old tobacco can right there. I could see an old tobacco can being on the outside of what looks like a jail. See if there's any doors on this side. Nothing. Just one more window. So one big iron door. Another window. You can see the iron on the inside as well. So not only the iron bars, but iron kind of lattice work on the inside. Now, Goldfield, not a ghost town, but a lot of the ghost towns that we go to, you know, places out in the middle, mining towns out in the middle of the desert, have these can piles, and this is no slouch. This was an old junk pile, obviously, for Goldfield, just littered with cans. Pretty sure you could probably Google Earth this and find this big mound of cans right next to this building. Return to the visitor center. It looks like it is now open and people are going in. Let's see if we can find some more information. So as we're looking at the buildings and through town, we have a little information on them. And we found a little bit of fun facts and history when we went into this amazing visitor center. But in 1904, Virgil Earp and his wife Allie arrived in Goldfield. It was shortly after that that Virgil was sworn in as deputy sheriff of Esmeralda County. Now, he served right up to his death on October 19th, 1905. And he passed right here in the St. Mary's County Hospital on Euclid Avenue in Goldfield. And you can see these large pictures on the wall from 1903 all the way to 1906, the progression of the population. Very significant growth during those 4 years. Okay, so finding out from the visitor center that this area was the red light district, and a fire ripped through here, and that the only building left that's being restored is this one. That was a brothel right there. You can see the 3 doors and the 3 windows. So that's what's left in the red light district. And going across the street, in fact, we did find out this was the jail. And quite an interesting jail at that, because this jail has one giant iron door, and I'm assuming there are cells in there, and there's just 2 little barred windows that we showed you in that video. But I'll tell you, that is very strong, but at the same time, not much air got in there. And you can see the stovepipe on top for some heat, as it does get fairly cold here in the winter, and quite a bit of snow. But in the summertime, it gets plenty hot to live under a tin roof. All right, so we are going to start our little tour of the town, as there's a lot to see here and share with you. And you see the sign on the wall says that, well, this guy drank water. Didn't look like it went too well for him. So I think they're referring to the fact that you can get a couple of cold brews and beverages in here. See the skeletons up top there of the Hoist House restaurant, and maybe it's a little tavern as well. Hard to catch on the camera, but you can see inside the building that the roof is exposed. They've been rebuilding these buildings. You can see John S. Cooking Company, bankers. And this looks like it was a bar for a while, and it's all shut now. But you can see inside an old punching bag machine in there, old cash register and taps, and the floor. There is an old vault, a couple of old vaults in the back. Take a look at those. That reminds me of the one that's at the Misspaw Hotel. That's down the road in Tonopah. You can see the amazing work and workings of that vault that's built into the wall. So with old buildings, kind of funny, but you can see how they were built, but you can see the walls bowing from all the heavy stress and stonework. And again, I hope it's really caught on camera. This is just, these buildings are crazy the way they're built. So nice. And this one looks like they might be going to rework it. And to do some stuff in there. You can see the old lath and plaster style walls that they would have had. All right, so right here in the sidewalk, take a look at that. They've framed in the old thick glass like you'd put in your bathroom. It goes through. That might light up at night or something, because underneath the sidewalks you can see, well, there's pigeons up there. It's kind of scared me. I heard a loud noise. Those pigeons are scratching around. I don't know, kind of in a ghosty part of the town too. It kind of scared me making that noise, as I was told that a tremendous amount of the buildings here in Goldfield are, of course, haunted. You see the corner double doors here, the Nixon block. So the Nixon Winfield block is what this is. It's a huge building. Now it's said that Nixon and Wingfield, I should say, were the economic powerhouses of this town. And looking up, you'll see that they've got a mannequin looking out of the window right up there. That's not creepy at all. Okay, as you can see attached to the building, that was the old Consolidated Telephone and Telegram office building right there. And look at this old building right here. Now this town has no shortage of old buildings to look at, and we're going to get into more because there's a lot of mining operation equipment and things. But this town did suffer with a fire. You can just see the old buildings in the background. Now this was an old mercantile here in town. And then it stored a lot of liquor here. You can see the peak up there. Very interesting building. They've got it wired off on this side to keep it from falling down. And then they turned this into a theater. So this was a huge theater. It's a massive building. Very interesting to see. It's got vents up on top of it. Crazy construction. Old theater mercantile. Here's a old building here made out of stone. And I say old a lot because everything's old. See what's going on here? Besides a building just falling in. Amazing to think that at one time this was somebody's residence. They lived here and mined in this community. They probably went in the old mercantile and the hotels. What's that?
The door's locked.
Oh, that's right. The building's fallen in. You can get in anywhere you want to, but it's still locked. So I guess you're supposed to stay out. You can't get in that door. All right, built in 1907. This is the Goldfield School. And this is known to be haunted. Believe it or not, there's been many videos and stories, first-hand stories from the people that worked in here, that this location is haunted. And here it is, the front. We're gonna get a good picture of that to share with you. That is one massive school. You can see the front door, the original staircase going up. Been fixed up a little bit, but there's a lot of work to do here. A little daylight coming through the roof up there. Need to get this thing sealed up and rebuilt. That is an amazing building. So this school had 12 large classrooms and 450 students and only 2 bathrooms. As you can see, they are really restoring this. This is the other side, construction side. This is one nice preservation project that they're having because this is one giant building. Okay, so this is the courthouse over here. In 1913, there was a huge flood that took out a large part of the town. And in 1923, there was a huge fire, and it took out a majority of buildings in the town, including, of course, that red light district that we talked about. And there was absolutely no reason for them to rebuild, as the town and mining was starting to dwindle at that time. But again, there was still some mining, and residents stayed here. But the town slowly went into decay, and the population went down. So the flood and the fires, in most ghost towns, mining towns, you'll find that a lot of the buildings had been burnt down and a lot of them were affected by floods. That's the old fire station across the street, of course, from the courthouse. There's an old engine in front. We'll get closer to that. Well, let's get a view of the front of the courthouse. Says right up top, built AD 1907, the courthouse. Closed on Saturday, can't get inside, but many of the offices still operate out of there. In the actual courtroom area, people are still getting married in there because it is all original and amazing. For what it's worth and what's left, old number 3, right here. Still has the drivetrain in it. You can see there in the old pump. Not much of a steering wheel left. Ladders are still on there. Tires are holding maybe a little air. Look at the drivetrain under there. How does that even work? Number 3, right in front of the Firehouse Museum. All right, so every time you turn around and go down the street here in Goldfield, it's just amazing stuff to see. But look at this old garage and the fake brickwork on the front where it says garage right there, all made out of tin. Oh, some classic cars inside. We'll take a look. But this is the old garage. It says Shell right up front. See what's inside. Old oil barrels. Hey, there's a noose hanging right there. An old noose over the rafters. And old refrigerators. A noose? It is an old west town. Who knows? Okay, looking in the window. That looks like it says Clipper on the front of it. And there's a couple in the back. And an old station wagon. It looks like, I don't know if that's like a Nomad for as much as I know. It looks a bit older, like maybe a 50s wagon back there. Sorry, the camera's hitting the glass. And old iron bed frames in the back. This is the side of the garage. Coming down, and look at the old cars back here. An old ambulance. Very old ambulance. And help me out. Let me know what I'm looking at here. I almost think that's a Cadillac emblem on here. Nope, Nash. Some kind of a Nash. And from the looks of the emblem that's missing on the front, probably another Nash. If anybody knows what year or what models these are, let me know. I do know they have suicide doors on the side. And whatever this is. I just love hearing in the comments what kind of cars these are or your thoughts on them. And thoughts of our location and where we're at, because I just find it amazing to see all these cars and old things. Of course, you know that's an ambulance by looking at it. Looks like something off of Ghostbusters. No shortage of old bed frames laying around. And ooh, there's an old truck back in here. Let's see if I can get closer to that. Here we go. All right, look at that. Looks like maybe somebody had a seat on the back of it. Looks like they had a cloth top on it. It says Ford right on the front. And that's probably where you put the water in right there. And one up there as well. With a radiator. Next to an old building. Hey, wait a minute. I think there's a vehicle in here as well. There is. I don't know what that is. I can't see in the window very well. Maybe you can see it. It's a large truck of some sort. Headlight there and on the fenders. And that's the grill. And the window's still intact. And Lisa spotted these from the main street. We're filming the firehouse. But look at these. They're 2 stations. So I guess these are subway station entrances is what these look like. What? Didn't see that happening today. When the lights were hanging down. You can see all the ironwork. I didn't find any other information like a city or location on them to find out where they're from originally. That old chicken wire milk glass. This has got to be early 1900s, maybe 1920-ish, maybe.
anybody knows or is familiar with any of that, please let me know, because I was very interested in where these came from, or what year or what period they're from. That's the old Brown Parker garage and auto. You can see the front of it right there. Now this stands right next to one of the most haunted, I should say, haunted buildings in town. And that is right here. That is the Goldfield Hotel. And this is a massive building. The sign's right on the front. This building is for sale. It was purchased, and it has been getting refurbished for quite some time, but nobody can seem to pull it off. But this place is massive. There's been a numerous amount of ghost hunters that have gone into this hotel and captured so much as what they call evidence that this location is haunted. We're gonna go right up there on the front step and take a look inside. The haunted Goldfield Hotel with pigeons. Now, the whole front of the Goldfield Hotel is tile. Real small, like 1-inch tile. You can see it says right there in front, Goldfield Hotel. Security cameras operational. See if we can get in front. Take a look at the staircase going up. As you can see that. And the double doors. Actually, those are just windows going into a double door area in the back. All the original tile on the floor. And they are currently looking for contractors. These beautiful posts are in there. I wish we could get in there. Fireplace in the back. Lots of rooms. You can see the stonework, but they're redoing this. But I'm telling you right now, when this is done, or if it is ever done, I don't know if I'd stay here, because they say it is extremely haunted. A lot of activity going on in here. Okay, this is the other side. There's more of those beautiful beams on the inside. Looking for contractors for sure. They want you to help for just about everything. Okay, so there's two big rock structures that were here, obviously. A lot of it's down, but this amazing arch is still here. We're gonna get closer and find out exactly what that was. And then right over here, there's another one. We're gonna see if there's a placard there to find out what that structure was as well. Okay, so after reading our Goldfield history book, this was the Sideboard Saloon. And this is the entrance. I'm going to walk through the entrance of the Sideboard Saloon. Now get this. It still has some of the tile on the entranceway. But I'm telling you right now, when you go into this saloon, you're not getting anything cold to drink. So this is right across from the saloon archway. Have no idea what this is, but I'm going to get closer to it. Maybe somebody who knows a little bit about Goldfield more than I do will know what this is. It's got a giant hole there, some grate right there, like metal grating. Let's head up here. I see something that I want to take a look at anyway, because there is an old car down there in the in the hole. Now it looks like it was maybe a spot for like a chimney or something to be piped out. And just by the look of those, the fender there, I knew somebody that had a Buick. So somebody let me know what that is. It looks like an old Buick. So remember those 3 holes in the fender on each side. Some interesting buildings here in Goldfield for sure. So much to see. Goldfield is an amazing historic location.
We hope you enjoyed this adventure to Goldfield, Nevada, and be sure you check this video right up here on the screen. I linked it right here for you, because that's going to take you to the mining district of Goldfield, Nevada. It feels like a completely different area. And until our next adventure, Goodbye from Weekend Escapades, and we'll see you in the next one.